Legend has it, there was once a king so cruel and so evil that the gods feared him. Since no prison could hold him, he was trapped forever in the form of a great black cauldron.
The Horned King, that black-hearted devil.
Walt Disney Pictures presents The Black Cauldron. Escape into a world of darkness.
Are you coming?
Me? Go in there? Oh, no. It's a terrible place.
A world of excitement. A world of dreams.
Cauldron, the greatest warrior, a true hero.
And through the magic of 70mm photography and 6-track Dolby sound, you will be transported to a fantasy event for the entire family.
Look, sire, it's working.
Soon the Black Cauldron will be mine.
In the great tradition of Disney animated classics, now comes the newest Disney spectacle of them all, The Black Cauldron.
What's happening, everybody and fellow nerds? Welcome to Parsville 96 today. So, as you can tell from this video, I'm going to do a review on The Black Cauldron, but it is not a review. It is reasons why this movie is underrated. And as you can tell today, I'm wearing the same thing. Like I said in my previous video, I'm doing 2 videos today, so this is my second one for the day. Kind of hard. I want to talk about this so much, but at the same time, I don't want to waste your time on this because some of you might not even ever watch this film. So, let me see if I have it over here. No, it's over here. You will see pictures of it. Apologize for this, but I've watched it recently and I think it's still in my player, to be perfectly honest. Yep, okay. So, Black Cauldron. Well, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. It has to be... Ooh, sorry. Here, hold on. There we go. As you can tell, 25th anniversary edition. So, I feel pretty cool about that. It's actually number 1 in my top 10 favorite Disney movies of all time. And 2 other films that I believe are also underrated fall into 2 and 3. So, I'm probably going to do why they're underrated and not seen as great Disney movies like they should be. I'll do ones on them. But today, Black Cauldron. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a rundown. So it was made in 1985. All the technology they used for this film was cutting edge at the time. Even though nowadays, even with the 25th anniversary, I think sort of remastered, sort of revised, it still has those old feels that we used to love from old Disney movies. But you can still see the cutting edge that they try to do at the time. And nowadays when we see it, if we watched a film like that or they made it, you'd be like, they're just toning down all their technology and their artistry and not making it like a Disney movie we all know nowadays with all this, all the animation that they go through. And it's a story about a king who was trapped in, who was an evil king who was trapped inside this black cauldron. You never see the king. He's just referenced every now and then and why he was turned into the Black Cauldron. The story evolves around a young pig boy named Taran. He watches over this pig named Hinwin, and his normal watcher, who is sort of like his father figure, is teaching him, showing him the ways and taking care of the pig. But the special thing about the pig is that if you do, if you have her look into a bowl of water or just anything that's a bowl or a shape or something that's filled with water, you do, I believe it's counterclockwise or clockwise, one of the two. And just as long as you stir the water and you say, Hinwin, with thee I do beseech thee, or something. I'm pretty close. I think I'm saying one word wrong. And as soon as you say that to her, the pig's eyes start to circulate, and then in the water, you see her vision. She's a pig who can see into the future and can see everything. She's basically a fortune-telling pig, is what she is. And it's so cool in how they do it. And the main villain of the story is called the Horned King. Think Skeletor from He-Man, for those of you who do know He-Man, mixed with, I'd say, one of the cloaked figures that, I don't know. I'm trying to get a good description for the Horned King for you guys. Because if you look at some of the stuff, he actually is pretty creepy. He has like a skeleton face and everything. The way he looks, like I said, Skeletor from He-Man mixed with probably one of the cloaked figures that is from Lord of the Rings. There we go, Lord of the Rings. Like one of the hood figures. Granted, the hood's not black or anything. It's like a brown with a fur collar and other stuff, but it's still really cool. He reminds me of both of those put together. And it's about how he's wanting to get the Black Cauldron. He's wanting to rise all the armies he's had back from the dead. So he has an undead army that can just reign across all the world, or I think it's pretty much just the area he's at. So he could be the king of everything and rule just everything. And it's a good story. It's a good premise. Fantasy is there. It's one of the things that I saw before I seen Lord of the Rings when I was a kid, and this made me feel like Lord of the Rings was this was inspired by Lord of the Rings, because I know the book series of Lord of the Rings is way older than the movies and everything else, and it's way older than the story of the Black Cauldron. I think the Black Cauldron story is actually the original book. I know it's based off of a book. I think its original story is around the same time, if not further, than the author who wrote the Lord of the Rings novels. So in a way, it gives you Lord of the Rings vibes. Granted, you're not going after a ring, you're going after a black cauldron. And no matter what you do, if you put something good in it, it stops it. If you put something bad in it, that's when all the power is released from it, and it can cause whatever it wants to. So for the Horned King's case, like I said, he wanted to rise his undead army so he could rule over the world. And it's up to Taran and Hinwin, and then friends he meets along the way, Princess Alori, and I forget the harp player's name, Flutaflim. It's a weird name. Believe me, I have trouble trying to say Flutaflim a lot. So I just call him Flim, or I just call him the harp player. That's basically the kind of character he is to me. And then you get a Gollum character. He's not evil or anything, but it's one of those creature characters that you're like, oh, cool. Even though Gollum's not really, technically he is a creature, but at the same time he used to be a hobbit. But anyway, you get Gurgi. He's like a furry, pint-sized guy. I'll try to get my hands in I'm not going to be able to. Basically, a furry thing that'd probably be about the size of a baby, if not a little bit bigger. So maybe a slightly small toddler that you would normally think. Probably a little smaller than probably about a 4 or 5-year-old, but not as small as a baby that's recently born. He's in between that height, but his whole body's covered with fur, and his voice is hilarious. I would do an impression of him because I like to do impressions, but no, I don't really want to. But his voice is hilarious. He gives you those funny moments, and then he gives you those moments where it's like, that's kind of sad that he feels that way. And then it revolves around all these characters. And they all meet from when Taran is trying to go after Hinwin. And then that's when he ends up meeting Princess Alori first. No, he meets Gurgi first, and then he meets Princess Alori, and then he meets Flutaflim after he meets the princess. And then their whole journey is trying to get the Black Cauldron to destroy it and stop the Horned King from getting it. And so, like I said, they want to destroy it. And the whole story is great. Now, the reason why it's underrated, this is my reason here. Granted, when it was released in 1985. There was a lot of movies in that time period, or in that year, and then year before and the year after, where there was a lot of great movies that rivaled Black Cauldron. Sorry, I need to get a drink. This is bothering me. So, that's better. It had the makings of being a great fantasy film that we all remember from a kid. Great fantasy cartoon, like the original Lord of the Rings cartoons and everything else. But the men who created this, they have been people, these two men, I forget their names, but they've created some of our favorite Disney movies, or not created, were part of the process in creating most of our favorite Disney films. And they had a chance to do their own feature film. Disney let them. and they started with the Black Cauldron. Now, the Black Cauldron, all of its public stuff that you'd get made it seem like it was going to be a great movie and everything. And then when people went to go see it, critics, everything, didn't make that much money, and then it dropped. And then that's when Disney just hit it from the limelight. If you start to notice that if a Disney project doesn't get the recognition or the money that it's supposed to, or they think that it's supposed to, you either see it go straight to DVD, or it just disappears for a long time, and then it's re-released, and we're like, I remember seeing about that years ago. What happened to this? Disney does this. And these two creators are also the creators of one of my other favorite Disney movies of all time, and the way Disney handled that project really upsets me. But I'm not talking about that one today. But Black Cauldron didn't make that much money, which for me seems kind of crazy, because to me this had the makings for all the people who I know and who I could eventually meet in the future, who would absolutely love the premises and the ideas that they throw into this film. It's hard to digest for me, because it was one of my favorite movies as a kid, like I've been saying, and I'm going to probably keep saying in this video. I just don't see why it did. And I'm just mentioning the story and showed you the trailer for this movie because it's a movie that doesn't need to be underrated no more. It needs to be shown out in the open, more chances than none. And I have two other ones that I will mention, I'll show to you guys and talk with you about. But for today, I'm going to let you guys know you need to give Black Cauldron a chance if you haven't seen it already. Try to find it on YouTube. Try to find it on something you can either buy it that's not that expensive, or just find it on some sites or whatever that you can view it for free or something. Just give it a chance. It's a great movie. Personally, me, is for the fantasy and the the magic and everything, swords, all that. I give this movie a 10 out of 10 because also nostalgic reasons as well. This movie is great. I need all of you to understand this. I mean, you could probably think it's not underrated, or it is underrated. It's your opinion. Me, I think it's underrated because I've never heard people do this. Even if I talked about this movie to people, I get a good chunk of people that's just like, huh? What's the Black Cauldron? Never heard of it. Is that a new movie that's supposed to come out, or something that's already happened maybe a year or two ago? It's happened decades ago, people. And this is a great movie. And I want you guys to either give it a chance or just look at this review, look at the trailer, and then you decide for yourself if you want to or not, or if you do. All I want you guys to know is you need to give this movie a try. So like I said, 10 out of 10, fantasy, everything. I love this movie. Sorry this video is a little long. I just wanted to let my thoughts and my opinions out there about this film. I believe it's an underrated film, and it needs to be brought up into the light, everybody. This is a great Disney film. I love it so much. So that's it for today. I need you to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell definitely. I'll be having another video, hopefully not tomorrow, but probably Sunday or Monday. I'm going to try to get that out there at those times, but I have these two for today so you guys can enjoy. So anyway, I am Parzival, and I will see you guys in the next video.